On Built to Last, we've extensively covered residential construction projects, but today we're going to take a look at a commercial job site to see what goes on at that level of construction. We're going to check out an apartment complex that's for seniors that's under construction in Chicago. Now, this building has 72 apartment homes, and it occupies more than 75,000 square feet. Now, what's really special about this project is that it meets LEED Silver certification. A project of this scale requires an amazing amount of coordination between many trades, with safety a strictly enforced priority. Now let's go take a look at what commercial construction is all about.
Built to Last is sponsored by Unico Incorporated, manufacturers of the small duct high-velocity HVAC Unico system. Unico is dedicated to the environment and has been serving residential and commercial customers around the corner and around the globe for more than 25 years.
Great Northern Lumber, providing green construction materials from skyscrapers to residential remodel. Proud to serve you for the last 27 years and into the future in the lumber industry.
Well, I think one of the things that Pathway has taken on as an initiative is to build to a sustainable standard. We have, as I mentioned earlier, this is our 16th building that we have constructed. And within the past 2 to 3 years, we focused much more on a sustainable building program. In fact, this is our second LEED building. When we look at the buildings themselves, we want to make sure that we are being a good steward to the environment, being a good steward to the communities that we build in. And not only do we find this to be a better program in how we build and operate, but we find it as a competitive advantage as well in being able to attract people to our retirement communities. The building that we're at is a LEED certified building, and what that means is a leadership in energy and environmental design. It's sponsored by the U.S. Green Building Council, and it means that the building is built to green standards. Things like having a roof that is reflective, solar panels, having energy efficiency throughout the building, having zero runoff, meaning that all the rainwater that is on this site will be collected and used for the landscaping, and a whole bunch of other green initiatives. This building is a LEED Silver building, meaning that there are 4 different levels of LEED. The basic level, which is a LEED designation, then there's LEED Silver, LEED Gold, and LEED Platinum. Each of those different levels is based on a point system, and that just is looking at all of the different sustainable initiatives going on at the site and in the construction and the design of the building. And based on each individual item and how much it scores, you qualify at a certain level of LEED. You get points for all kinds of things like having this energy efficient roof, for example, that's reflective, having solar panels, having a variety of other things like collecting the rainwater runoff, in the way that the building is constructed, in the materials that are being used. All of those things add to the value of the points that you receive and ultimately determine what level of LEED you'll be at. Well, the purpose of LEED is actually both from a sustainability perspective as well as an energy efficiency perspective. So it addresses 2 things. One, the construction of the building and its needs, and being able to meet the needs of the surrounding environment, as well as the ongoing operations of the building to ensure that the building itself is not wasting energy and not wasting resources. So this entire area is a brownfield, and what a brownfield is just an area that contains soils that aren't suitable for plant growth. The area used to be a steel factory, and in one of the byproducts in making steel is an item called slag. It's things like this that are just left as remnants on the ground and aren't sustainable for the plants in this area. So what we've done is put in what's called as bento mat, which is a ground cover of plastic, and then on top of that, new fresh topsoil for better plant growth.
Construction coordination on a commercial site is very critical. You may have as many as 12 to 15 subcontractors, as well as employees from those subcontractors that could end up being somewhere between 80 to maybe 150 gentlemen on the job. Those gentlemen have to be led and know where they're working in order to accomplish their task and to do so in a very efficient manner. The job would find itself having issues if we have people stepping over each other, people in each other's way. For instance, you can't have electricians and plumbers and HVAC workers all in the same area at one time. You have to coordinate that through planning, through foreman's meetings, through instruction from the superintendent and from the foreman on the job to keep everybody out of each other's way. You have to coordinate it by stepping certain actions and activities as they need to be done, and in assistance having communication between each foreman out there, whether it be through the superintendent or not. It has to be coordinated and it has to be taken care of, and the answers have to be brought forth from the general contractor to the subcontractors. Every commercial job has a complete schedule from the day that you start to the day that you're set for completion. There are weekly foreman's meetings at the general contractor's trailer. At those foreman's meetings, all items that are in question are discussed, and there is a short-term schedule that is given out that has a 2-week look ahead at it. Every foreman for every subcontractor knows at that meeting what every subcontractor is expected to accomplish, how he's expected to accomplish it, so that no one is in anybody's way or stepping on each other's toes. Our company has a very strict safety policy. We have definite rules that have to be followed, and we do require strict adherence to those rules, or you will be removed from the job site. For instance, with safety glasses and/or hard hats, they both have to be worn at all times through all phases of construction, regardless if there are finished ceilings above you or if you're working on the roof and it's 90 degrees and the blue sky is only above you. We still have to wear hard hats, we have to wear our glasses. Safety required on this commercial site requires a initial orientation by every person that enters the job, regardless of the length of their task or the duration of the time that they're going to be here. That orientation takes place inside the trailer, and it requires them watching a video, going through a checklist, signing off on a verification that they did do this, and then a walk around through the job site to inform them and acquaint them with what's going on at the site at the time that they enter. We're here doing site curb work today. This is just part of the concrete work, and it's mostly the finished part of what we've done with this building. This building started out because of unsuitable building material with a caisson base. The caissons being, there's 78 of them on the site supporting this building, all at a depth of about 55 feet. The building that you see is not set on your typical foundation. It's set on what we call a caisson grade beam fixture. This design is usually used where unsuitable building materials are encountered. The engineers designed these caissons to go into the ground. They have steel cages in them. They come up to a certain elevation. At that point, you build a foundation across those caissons, and that's what the masonry, the veneer, and the block on the inside sit on and support the precast at every floor. This is the site work that's going on at Victory Center. These are some of the curb islands that are being poured right now. We're standing in the parking lot. The parking stalls will be adjacent and go right down parallel with this island. Out here, we have sidewalks that have been recently poured. We have a pad for our proposed gazebo that's going to be set up in this area. This yard will be completely landscaped, and it'll end up with all kinds of perennial and annual plantings that'll be set in here with a lot of shrub work. Here we have concrete that was recently poured in the last couple days. You do see it under weather protection. Concrete that's done at this time of the year has to be protected from frost and from the elements. This stuff was just recently poured 48 hours ago. This is the finished sidewalks. The saw cut joints will be done within the next couple days, and the curbs that we're pouring today and that you see presently getting ready to be poured will all be finished, covered, and protected for the next several days, and then the saw cut joints will be put in. I'm here in one of our mechanical rooms of the building. Here we have our fire protection equipment, our pump, our controller. As you look around, we have our solar storage water tank down here that originates up on the roof. The water is warm, comes down, and is stored in this area for distribution. The solar system in this building is really just a reverse system of what your automobile does. Instead of the circulating coolant going to the radiator and being cooled by the air coming in, we have fluids that go out to the solar panels, are heated by the solar panels, come back, and those coils are then heating the water that is sent down to a storage tank, and that storage tank distributes it throughout the building. We're here in the multi-purpose room. Today one of the carpenters is here. He's fitting the sills that will go in at every window that you see it. And over here we have one of the electricians who is piping up for some speakers in this multi-purpose room when they have presentations and special speaking engagements. Here we have a carpenter that's installing all the rough framing and the blocking for our USPS system that goes in here. This is an ADA compliant facility, American Disabilities Act. Our counter is set at a specific height, and our mailboxes are also set at the designated height. So we're talking 24 mailboxes to a section that sit here, and the mailboxes are all in here. When you take your mail out, you can set it on the counter and then close the box and then pick up your mail and leave. This is an ADA, don't forget, this is an ADA facility. Everything's a lot lower. We're here at the main entry of the building now, where a carpenter is measuring for fabrication of the reception desk countertop. This area here is a required entry for all the general public to come to before they enter the building. The carpenter is measuring here for blocking and backing, which we will be measuring up here and setting in for the base of a granite top that will be the main part of our reception desk. That granite top will start at that end, come over, and it will have a drop-down area for the general public when they come in to register. We're now in the dining area, and we have a carpenter who is here, and he's measuring rough openings for a sandwich dispenser in this area right here, as well as drink dispensers in this area right here. We have a freeze top that goes in this section right here that is rough framed out and ready for all of the blocking to go in there to receive the freeze top. We're going into one of the senior apartments now. We're here, and as the cabinets are being installed, we have miscellaneous fillers that have to be set in place. These are blocking off the ends of the cabinets, or they're separating the cabinets. Carpenter here, he's setting the ones at the end of the cabinet, finishing those up. Here's another apartment, and one of our carpenters is here and he's installing the doors after the cabinet installation has been completed, and he's connecting the cabinets with the fillers by screwing through the stiles. We're here in this unit. The carpenter is prepping for cabinet installation. He starts by marking all the horizontal elevations on the wall. Secondly, the cabinets are unpacked and pre-drilled for anchoring to the wall. Why do we put the upper cabinets up first? Simply for the sake of an easy installation. The upper cabinets go up, the lower base cabinets are not in our way. We put those cabinets in all around the top. We come by and we start to put in our base cabinets. All the base cabinets have to be shimmed up to be perfectly plumb, level throughout for the countertop installation. After that, they're all put together, screws through the stiles, tightened up, set, and the doors are put on and we walk away. Here we are in one of the senior apartments again. We're looking at the pre-hung door installation. Here I have two carpenters, one of them setting up, shimming everything up, getting everything perfectly set, plumb, level, before everything is anchored in. The door is all set and attached. The casings are ready to be put in right afterwards. All right, let's head upstairs. We'll look at the installation of the apartment floor tile and the hallway ceiling tiles. We're here in the hallway setting the acoustical ceiling tile grid. The laser goes up, it is set as a predetermined height. It's spun all the way around. We set the wall angle. There are mains that are set right here that go all the way down. The T's are then snapped in place and they are riveted every 4 feet. You know, that's such a, the ceiling grid that's being set in place is not attempted until we go through a complete above ceiling inspection. That above ceiling inspection includes all the fire stop above the ceiling where penetrations are through the wall, all of the pipe inspections that go through, all the connections, all the testing that has to be done for leaks or any problems up above the ceiling. Once that is accomplished and we have signed off from inspectors, then we start the ceiling grid. The ceiling grid is all set. It's stapled up to the wall at the wall angle, and you see the hangers with 3 spins on them. That's per code. Here we have another carpenter finishing up all the floor tile in this apartment. As you can see, prior to the setting of the tile, there's a floor prep process that's done. This is to ensure that the floor is laid perfectly smooth and helps out with the levelness of it. No imperfections will be showing up through the tile. I'm here at one of the entries to our apartments. The painter is here now, finished caulking, prepping the door frame for the finish coat. This is one of our ADA apartments. This apartment is considerably different than the standard senior apartment. Biggest difference is right here in the bathroom. The bathroom has a floor drain in it. It has a shower that has easy entry, floor height for wheelchair accessibility. The ceramic tile floor has a waterproof membrane underneath it that goes up the side of the walls because of the chance of the water coming out of the shower and getting onto the floor before it goes to the drain. As the person is to leave the bathroom, instead of the door swinging in, the door swings out, as all ADA compliant doors do. As we move over to the kitchen area, you'll notice that the cabinets are considerably lower than a standard cabinet installation. These cabinets or for the ease of access for someone who has some disabilities. The sink area, you'll notice, doesn't have a cabinet or two cabinets underneath it. It just has a valance, and it is all set for ease of wheelchair accessibility. At the end of the day, it's all about the client. We demand the best from our subcontractors, from the spreading of the black dirt to the masonry and precast assemblies, all the way to the top, to the roof membrane.
We take a look at the age-old adage, if not now, when? And if not us, who? Absolutely the present state of where we're at now, whether with our economy, with our resource depletion, whether or not you believe in climate change, now is the perfect opportunity. And from this point forward, we'll take a look at what the home of the future will be. An energy efficient home. Who benefits from that? All right, that end user benefits from a more healthy home, for a home that it costs less to heat and cool and run. Who else benefits from that? The entire society will. Our environment, less carbon, less resources being used by our homes to both build them and to both run those homes. Well, if I was to build the house of the future, what I would look to do is build the most energy efficient house that I could for the best value.
The Obama administration and the Department of Energy has received roughly $36 billion. Much of that is focused on helping invest in energy efficiency opportunities across the country.
So the state energy plans will create significant amounts of jobs. Essentially what this does, essentially what the state energy plan does is allow for large amounts of funding to be used for the creation of different projects, and those projects need people. And what we're seeing with the state energy programs is we're seeing people who've been laid off, who are having trouble finding employment through the Recovery Act funds and through the state energy program money. It may be in the form of training, it may be in the form of program staff, and it may be in the form of construction or execution, but this is creating jobs and making a significant impact on the local economies.
The Recovery Act is going to make available jobs including construction, HVAC workers, electricians, vehicle manufacturers. All these jobs are good paying jobs that can't be outsourced and are going to help transition our economy to a low carbon economy.
Energy auditing of an existing building. We just don't want to go in there and change the thermostat. Let's change the light bulbs. Let's start packing insulation, because we have to understand we can't just go in there and say, let's do this, let's do that. We have to really do a feasibility study of it and an energy audit of a home. And this is a role that I believe carpenters can play a key part of. We trained a trained energy auditor for a home that uses a blower door test, that uses infrared shots of a building to get a true dynamic of where are we losing our energy in this home and where can we best tighten it up. And when you have a good game plan in place, when you've looked at the feasibility, you've done an audit on it, and you've actually done a practitioner's point of view, where you've taken the home and run it through a series of tests. Now when we're going to make a change in it, let's make the change in it where it's going to make the most amount of sense.
On the Department of Energy's visit to Florida, looking at the impacts of weatherization, we had the privilege of going and seeing different, the team had the privilege of going and seeing different energy efficiency retrofits. One of the visits we made to homes that were weatherized was in a manufactured home area where we got to see two manufactured homes that had been moved together, but there was issues around heating. The bill could go to, in heating and cooling, the bill could go to $900 a month. And you know, we're talking about a family who has a single mother and I believe 3 kids, and there's a huge need for energy, for the cost reduction, and that can be done through energy consumption reduction. And so the retrofits there allowed her to take down her bill to, I believe, $200 a month, making a significant impact on her disposable income, on helping her children, and on her lifestyle. It also gave them the comfort to actually go home and turn on the heat. They'll live, to live in a manner that everybody would like to live in, and I think that makes a huge difference.
Commercial Commercial construction projects can be vastly different from residential ones. As the scope of the work increases, so does the attention to detail in areas like safety, coordination, and quality. Also, all work is diligently documented to make sure that the process goes smoothly and that any potential problems are avoided. This is why having a trained and qualified carpenter is not only necessary, but sometimes required. At this level, you just can't afford anything less. I'm Jana Peterson, and thanks for watching Built to Last.
Visit the Built to Last website to learn about these topics and more.
Built to Last is sponsored by Unico Incorporated, manufacturers of the small duct high-velocity HVAC Unico system. Unico is dedicated to the environment and has been serving residential and commercial customers around the corner and around the globe for more than 25 years.
Great Northern Lumber, providing green construction materials from skyscrapers to residential remodel. Proud to serve you for the last 27 years and into the future in the lumber industry.